content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
offense and defense, and you got to play both sides of the court. So you got to play offense and you got to play defense. And so this is what's going on right here. But we, the people, will be the ones that choose the next president. And that is for sure in this. And so President Trump in New York, in Detroit, and he had a roundtable, which I thought was good because people want to talk to him up close and personal. They want to say, look, what's going on? What are you going to do? Right? And he's actually sitting down and listening to that. And I appreciate that. I appreciate where we've come from there. Now, most of the pundits, they've got a problem with how he went about everything, right? So there was a black church. All the people in there were white. Okay. Okay. Now, here's the problem with that. Do you really expect Trump, who has 10 to 20% potentially of the black vote, to have a impromptu meeting with black folks when every black person that steps up gets shamed, get maimed? I mean, you could get hurt out here talking about you want to do anything for Trump. You say Trump's name, some people snap out, right? So what are we supposed to do if we want to move forward? People are too scared to go. So the Republican Party is still a very Caucasian institution. And that's the part that we've got to understand. But the good part is that the audience are actually the people that we need to be talking to about about what's going on. We don't need to talk to ourselves and tell ourselves what America needs. We need to talk to the body of America, the body of people, the 1% who hold the money and want to go in this way. We need to talk to them. So I'm not mad at that. Okay. And I had conversations with the Trump team and they said they know they need to do better. And we going to help them do better, people. My stance on this is simple. Whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat, whether there's a Republican president, whether there's a Democratic president, we need to have an agenda. We need to know what, and we need to be putting in on this. There's no other community that can come into my community. Can we, nor the owner of the station, nor can we come into your community and tell you what your community needs? No, we can't do that. We can't go into the Asian community and tell the Asian community what it needs. Now, I feel like the government is too much in our business, and that's why they think that they can give us a plan without talking to us. Maybe that's it. Maybe the reason why I'm a Republican is because I like low taxes. I like small government. I'm about business. I'm about family. God-centered. Okay? So all these things are very important to us. And we've got to look at it from that perspective. Then, so now, what about your boy, Roland Martin? Roland Martin, he's on the go. Now, one thing I'm going to I always say, Roland, you never give credit where credit is due, and you don't tell the other ones that this ain't it, right? You just go, I saw a video the other day where Roland had said, listen, I need to know what's going on so I can counteract what people say. People say this is why I don't like Biden, Harris, and I'm going to tell them that, oh, what is it? What don't they like? Okay, I'm going to tell you what they did. Listen, Linda, listen. If we don't like something, we don't like something. And sometimes you could do all kinds of stuff and you still don't like it. And is that okay? Right? And is that okay? And so I have to ask the Black community, are you fighting just for the Black community not to support Trump? Or are you fighting for America not to support Trump? Now, I know that the Black community ultimately decides what's going on when we're in focus and when we understand our numbers. It's a numbers game, people. So anybody that's in a numbers game, this is a numbers game. So I know the Black community is understands what it is. You know, we've got all these vote campaigns outside, everybody. But here's the key part that the Biden-Harris team is missing out on. They're missing out on that your faithful workers are starting to see, I don't know about this. But they're sticking to you because they're loyalists, and salute to you. I am a citizen. I respect you. All I ask for you to respect me. We can respectfully disagree on America's direction. Then you got your boy Charlemagne, the God. He's out here talking about, he finally came to it. They pushed him into the corner. He finally said, I'm not voting for Trump because I am not going to support the end of democracy as we know it. Oh, that's big. This, you know, that's their talking point. Oh, it's the end of democracy. And I got to ask Charlemagne and everybody, what democracy? What democracy are we talking about? Democracy that we're fighting for our people getting shot down, dead in the streets? That democracy? The democracy where the justice system works against us? That democracy? The democracy where, you know, you paying somebody $350 a week that just got here and leave your other people stranded and astray? That democracy? Wow. I don't know what that democracy is. I know what I'm looking to do for America is I'm looking to make a new pathway to the American dream. Can Donald Trump do that? I don't know. But I know that there's a place to start and change. It's not working for our communities out here, okay? Us being Democratic-run cities, it's not working. So whether or not the other people are holding back the money and this and that, I don't care about your job. I care about what happens in the community. And we've got to be big on that. So therefore, we're about to go to a commercial and we're about to come back and we'll more with the New American Perspective in a minute. I'm going to start singing. You know, if I get these little dead points, I'm just going to go, start spreading the news. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. To my dad, happy birthday. Happy Father's Day. Daddy, yo. To my mother, thank you for being a great mother. And thank you for leading me on this pathway to the American dream. This is the New American Perspective, and we'll be right back. I'm just waiting for us to go to commercial. Join me, Jania Butler, for the New American Perspective every Wednesday at 12 noon for an in-depth look of education, politics, economics, and entertainment from Republican and conservative views. The first of its kind on the Millennium News 24 and the Millennium TV 24 network. we will conceptualize and debate the rights and wrongs of the society, and together we will build the new American perspective and share it with the rest of the world. You can tune in on all iOS and Android platforms, branded smart TVs, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. If you're around the world, Horizon Satellite. If you're in Europe or Australia, the Sky Network. Tune in to MillenniumNews24.com or MillenniumTV24.com. All social media, Millennium News 24. We're live and have the podcast at the same time. I am a citizen, and this is our perspective. And we're back. This is your host, Shania Butler, and this is the New American Perspective. Thank you so much for joining us today. Wherever you're joining us from, all over the world, welcome. You are welcome here. There's no shame on this podcast. There's no shame on this show. There's no shame. You be who you are, and let's conceptualize and really think about what is right and wrong in our community. And excuse me, people, happy Juneteenth. Today is June 19th, Juneteenth in America. Second year, officially a holiday, going from a long time. And I want to take a moment to celebrate Juneteenth, the second annual Juneteenth in America, and tell you about Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a federal holiday in the United States celebrated on June 19th to commemorate the freedom of enslaved people across the country. Juneteenth commemorates the day. Now, this is the good part about this one, which the U.S. Army moved into Texas, declaring over 250,000 slaves free to enforce what had already been the law of the land for 2.5 years. The holiday also goes by Jubilee Day and Emancipation Day or Black Independence Day. So let's talk about that real quick. So slavery had ended. Okay, let me just get our dates right. I don't have the exact year. So slavery had ended. So there was a group of slaves, about 250,000. It's probably more than that. I can't say, well, your number is good. It's probably way more than that. But they didn't know that the rest of the country was free. So while everybody else is celebrating freedom, remember, we don't have social media. We don't have mail, we had snail mail and things like that, but we didn't have communication. We're still riding on dirt roads here, people, pebbles and sand. So they didn't know. For 2.5 years, they still served as slaves in America. And so every Juneteenth, we celebrate them for the late freedom. So this is Freedom Day today. Now, if you recall, about 2 years ago, Joe Biden made this a holiday. So I think most of you guys are off and should be watching me every Wednesday at 12, especially on Juneteenth. So a couple years ago, Joe Biden and the Harris campaign, and then some of the things I think they do right, but they're basic things. Oh, we put a Juneteenth holiday in. People need money. We're paying $1,000 or more a month in food. We don't need that. I mean, the thing is, here's the catch-22 with that. We're going to go ahead and pay. They're going to say, we're going to go ahead and pay that $1,000, right? Because you're going to give them food stamps and then they can pay for it. They're not going to complain, the people who can't afford it. But then when they rip the food stamps off, what's going to happen? But I'll give it to America. America will help you survive. That's how I feel. Okay? America will help you survive. They won't let you die. Not on the basic necessities. And that's where these other communities that need to grow need to understand. They're giving you the basic necessities to do something with. And sometimes we get caught up because there's generational everything, okay, that has got us caught into the system. And so we've got to break out of the system. And we've got to make our people comfortable again to be a part of the American society, to be a productive member of the American society. And we have to stop giving our people excuses, because I've met some great folks. Okay? So we have to stop giving people excuses for what we're talking about. Now let's move over to your boy, Biden, and I don't mean to call them boys. Boys, a Philly term, boy, B-O-I, not boy, B-O-Y from the back then. So, DACA. Okay, did you hear about what Biden was doing with DACA? Okay, so he just signed an executive order. So you'll see now going up to the election, they're going to be doing all these drastic things. But why do we have to wait every 4 years for you to do something? Right? And see, this is why it's important for the Black community to have a plan on the table. Because if we're waiting for 4 years for these executive actions and these orders, we're getting left behind. And that's why we are so far behind. Okay, so he let about 500,000 people who are married, who've been in the country 10 years, the spouses of American citizens, to get their citizenship. Saying, well, you know, they've been in America. I guess they can't have any record or anything, but they've been in America for 10 years or more looking for their citizenship. So they're going to fast track that citizenship. How do we feel about that? You know, I think that's a decent thing. You know, I understand, but let me throw the flip side to that. If that was in my community, these people are living here illegally. Now, maybe I'm wrong about what illegal means, but illegal is illegal. So now, if my guy out in Staten Island who got choked by the officer, if he wasn't selling cigarettes, which are illegal, the cop wouldn't be chasing him. But it's a small illegal thing. This is where we go off the rails here. Illegal is illegal. So if they're living in the country illegal, and my people, and so now they get the benefit of the doubt. You've been living here for 10 or more years. You didn't get into any trouble. So we're going to go ahead and give you your citizenship. Since you found somebody to marry, you got in line, 10 years, you've been running around illegal. We're going to go ahead and celebrate you for that. So I'm here, there, and everywhere with that one, right? Because again, if illegal is illegal, then I would like some of the same thing. Well, let me say this. If illegal is not legal, then I would like some of the same provisions to go over for my community as well. Because America is equal, right? Okay, so now let's talk just a little hip hop. You know, I'm a citizen of hip hop. So let's talk a little hip hop and hip hop distractions for today. Well, Have any of you, I'm telling anybody who is not a hip hop fan, please Google YSL Woody and get your laugh for the day. This is your 12 o'clock noon laugh for the day. So YSL Woody, and this is a distraction for the hip hop community. And I, DA Fannie Willis has a RICO case that she brought to Georgia. The rapper Young Thug, I think he might have been the first rapper in skirts, right? So he set off this non-masculinity trend, right? So Young Thug in a skirt. Hey, these kids come up with everything they come up with, right? So they're on a RICO charge in Georgia. Now they got a bunch of, I don't know how many people are on trial. It's about 6 in the courtroom with co-defendants of Young Thug, but they're going for a RICO. So they're talking about they've murdered, stole, did all kinds of crazy stuff, tortured, all kinds of stuff that they're going through. So I'm not mad that they pulled these brothers over, right? Rich brothers, right? And why would you be rich and need to go killing and hurting your community? So if you watch the trial, you'll see that Young Thug went from Young Skitty to Young Biggie. Okay? And that's first. So he's been eating healthy in there. I used to work on Rikers Island, so I know that they give you nice bread, the potato bread, and some mashed potatoes and stuff that'll stick to your ribs so you stay hungry, all those men in there, right? So now YSL Woody was the snitch, okay? And so he's on camera maybe 5-6 years ago telling all about the murders and everything like that. So now he's taking a stand in the courtroom as a snitch. And if you know anything about hip hop, snitching on the streets is snitches get stitches. So now he's got to face all the people that he snitched on. He's on the stand losing his pure mind. Okay, so again, it is definitely comedy. I'm sorry for the brothers that are locked up. I pray for you and pray that God lead and guide your way, and that, if you're innocent, that you are found innocent. But I'll just say this before we go to a commercial. They're looking at a mistrial on that case right there. Again, I think that trial is there to bankrupt Young Thug and take all the money that they gave back to him for all the shows, all the work, everything like that. We'll talk about this when we come back, but that's what they do to the Black people in our community. So we've got to talk about that. We've got to talk about why we get to the top and come tumbling down, and we let people come tumbling down. So after this commercial, we'll come back and we'll be right with you. The New American Perspective. I am a citizen. Join me, Jania Butler, for the New American Perspective every Wednesday at 12 noon for an in-depth look of education, politics, economics, and entertainment from Republican and conservative views. The first of its kind on the Millennium News 24 and the Millennium TV 24 network. We will conceptualize and debate the rights and wrongs of the society, and together we will build the New American Perspective and share it with the rest of the world. You can tune in on all iOS and Android platforms, branded smart TVs, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. If you're around the world, Horizon Satellite. If you're in Europe or Australia, the Sky Network. Tune in to MillenniumNews24.com or MillenniumTV24 all social media, Millennium News 24. We're live and have the podcast at the same time. I am a citizen, and this is our perspective. And we're back. This is your host, Jania Butler, with the New American Perspective. Thank you for joining us wherever you are today for this great Juneteenth celebration today. What are you doing today? And let me ask the people who are getting off for the holiday, how are you celebrating Juneteenth? Because I'll tell you this, when St. Patrick's Day comes around, Black people got on green, right? When the Puerto Rican parade pulls up, Black people was rocking the one star. When everybody comes through, Cinco de Mayo, we put on a sombrero and we do it, okay? What are you doing for Juneteenth? How are you going to celebrate? And let me use this time and this day to just throw that reparations word in there. It might be post-traumatic for some, but I need to throw the reparations word in there. And if for 2 years I'm a slave, 2.5. Let me get that right. If I'm a slave when I don't need to be a slave, we don't get reparations for that, for them little 2 years. And you'll also see in the news that the survivors of the Tulsa massacre and their families was denied. Their court case was denied. And people, we got to get behind this, okay? So Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma was burnt down after we had Black millionaires over there. They was doing their thing. They said this was the town to be. The original, Wakanda. This was the original Wakanda. Okay, the remnants of where they got this from. Doctors, lawyers, everybody doing their own thing. And see, what we got to look at in America is once we integrated, okay, we were in segregation at the time. Now, what happened was, don't let some Black folks get a couple dollars and be running around, doctors, lawyers, everything good. Okay? Don't let that happen, because we come from the bloodline of king and queens, so we can't help it. When we see gold, we have to have it draped on us. When we see diamonds, we got to have it all over our body. We got to have it. So I could imagine Black Wall Street in Tulsa being the place to be. And I could imagine that those country white folks down there said, well, what is they doing? And who do they think they are? And did you see that boy put his nose up to me? I said, I got something for that. And threw a match and walked away. And I'm sure it didn't happen just like that. That's just allegedly. Let's go with allegedly. But now, here we are. The survivors, the families, want some reprieve from America. So this is where stuff gets tough. This is where we don't believe. This is where we don't feel like we're citizens of America, of this country. This is where we're at. So they don't get no money. Juneteenth we got, and they just they knocked that down right before Juneteenth. And we always got to look at, we always say, Black History Month, somebody black goes out and embarrasses us. Black History Month. It's set up because our problem in this country is that we want the American dream. And we know that we got one life to live. So some of us get into the we'll do anything for it. I'll do anything to survive. Crime, everything, because the system doesn't work for me. So now I beg you a question. If the system worked for us, would it be different? If our communities were better, would it be different? Would you be different? Would you be different if the Black community was better? Would you hire a formerly incarcerated individual who in New York, by the way, you can't ask on an application anymore. You can't ask whether they've been convicted of crime. So I believe I haven't checked the streets, because where the streets are watching, I haven't checked it, but I'm assuming that people are now still getting discriminated against because they can't. I can't ask you, but I can look at you. And see, that's where we got to change the game, hip hop. We got to stop showing up with the baggy jeans and with all of this other stuff on and start looking the part. Become camouflage. Okay? They shouldn't be able to judge you. Y'all see me. Jania can go from hip hop to the White House in my style, in my language, in my dress. And what we do wrong, Black community, hip hop community, urban community, everybody, what we do wrong is we don't dress for the occasion. If somebody invites us into their house, invites us into their culture, you go overseas and they're not allowed to touch a woman in their culture. You touching the woman, or they're going to get you. They're going to take you out. But over here, we can disrespect people's cultures, disrespect everything that's going on with folks, and then expect, why do they treat me like that? And what I want you to do is I want you not to be yourself, because I'm myself. I found myself in all of my garb and all of my moods, even when I have to be a square biz and sit up straight and do all these things. See, we want the respect, but what part are we willing to play to get it? I know that we shouldn't have to work as hard and do what we need to do, but we got to play this game because we got one life to live. Rest in peace to John Mitchell of the Rainbow Push Coalition. He was Reverend Jackson chief of staff for over 30 years, worked tirelessly day and night with Reverend Jackson, gave me an opportunity over at the Rainbow Push and put me in some great places. And we changed hip hop through Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. I think hip hop needs to understand, and hip hop needs to know that you didn't revive yourself by yourself. It took one of the masterminds of our time to get with our movement and connect the dots. It took that. But y'all want to act like y'all don't see that. Y'all want to act like y'all didn't get left behind the first time because of what you didn't do. And maybe you paid respect and homage to the people that came before. Maybe you did. But don't get left behind again because you don't do the right things by hip hop, by the culture. Stop playing games. We don't have time. Hip hop has been in existence 50 years. Hey, but we're going into 51. So 50 was a great year for a lot of people. I remember when I started out working with Reverend Jackson 2009 and telling him that this part of hip hop is still alive. That we can't invite people that don't have a mission or a message to the table just because they have influence. And that's where we go wrong. Is that just because somebody has 100 million followers don't mean we should be listening to them. And I'm sorry, people, we got to get real with ourselves. We can't have everybody that knows nothing about where the culture should be going leading the culture. Just because they got some followers, just because the followers want to see them talk buffoonery, we can't support that. So 2009, I set out to open the door. The day when a Rakim coming to the table was like, who? A Melly Mel coming to the table was like, who? Jania, you better get a better guest list. No. I forced it. When they asked me to go big or go home, I said, I'm sticking with hip hop. And I believed in hip hop. I still believe in hip hop. Hip hop has the power to control the world. But the big thing of that is we did something with that power. That power is not all ours now. So we really have to look at what we're doing, where we're going. And then this next election is big. And when we come back after the break, our last break, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about what we need to do going forward. What type of policy needs to be in place for our education system? Who's responding to our needs? You see the Biden-Harris campaign, you see them, they're going out every time Trump's sitting down at the black church. Next thing you know, Biden had his a nonviolent gun program at the White House, gun prevention program at the White House. Shout out to Erica Ford. She's doing her thing. Not mad at you. But what I want our community to see and I understand is that we need to be everywhere. We don't just need to be sitting with the Democrats. Some of us need to be sitting with them independents and making sure that where they get in place, they have a plan for us. We're not monolithic. In America, we have a choice. Now, should the whole black community start shaming you because you make that choice? To me, that's old school. To me, that's similar to what we went through in the past. To me, that's similar to saying that you're illiterate, you can't vote. But I think now they're saying you're politically illiterate, you can only vote one way because you don't know what you're talking about. The election system is not just for folks that are astute in the politics. The election system is about us getting our stuff done. I was about to say something else. Us getting our work done, us getting our plans done, us making sure that in our lifetime. Now, granted, I think some of the people in Congress, in the Senate, they've been there for a lifetime and they may need to move on so we can grow as a country. See, we need people not to take advantage of the system and let the country grow. What I'm disappointed with the Democrats these days is that they're not letting us go. They're stifling us 100%. And so what are we going to do about that? Are we going to sit and let our kids every 4 years watch us jostle back and forth and get nothing done and tell them they're not worth the rescue? We have to go rescue our kids, people. I hear Donald Trump out here saying, we're going to send the police into the community. Ho, ho, ho. You know you my OG with this, Trump. But I don't need you. We don't need you to send more cops into our community. Okay? The cops are tainted. They've got the urban dilemma, the common mistasteful physical, emotional, or mental trauma that they go through when coming in contact with our community. So they're going through that, the cops. So we have to pull back, not necessarily on the policing, but we have to make a better deal. Because it is my vision that if you say to the Black community, if you say to the hood, because the hood is running the Black community, because unless we can go to the hood and tell them, look, I'm going to need a ceasefire for the next 20 years. What's that going to take? And you know what they're going to tell you? They're going to say good jobs, good education, no police on our backs. And we'll rock and roll. That's what the hip hop community proves. The hip hop community proves that if we are given the opportunity, first of all, we'll take it. Once we get that opportunity, we will change our lives. Hence the 50 Cents, hence the Jay-Z's of the world. Okay? We will change our lives, and other people can come with us too. And that's what we need. We need for our lives to be valued. So when they're talking Black Lives Matter, they were on point. Now, the people who funded it and the people who founded it, they might not be the greatest for the representation. But bravo for them for trying. So what I'm saying is that the hip hop community proves that. So I'm asking the Republican Party, invest in us. You want to win? You want to win big? You want that Black vote? Invest in us. Invest in what can be. Ask. This is what I want you to do. Next time you see somebody of hip hop descent, how they dress, how they act, ask them, what business you into? That's what you ask them. Don't look at them and judge them for their style, because that style is art. That is artwork. So now, what are we going to do with this Picasso? That's our job from here forward. When we look at the babies, let's look at this Picasso and how much this is in the future going to be worth. That's where we got to be, people. That's where we've got to be. Our intentions have to be straight. Has to be focused on what really is going to make America great. What really is, we all want America to be great. You know, and I take off that again, because again, when you start going, make America great again, a couple people in my community might get post-traumatic stress. Understood. So I'm going to go on, make America great. I worked hard in this country. It's working for me to a degree, and it doesn't work for me to another degree. And I think as women, as a Black American, things have to change, and they can't change in the current state that they're in. They can't change if I don't get more money on my job, but the price of the food is going up. I went in the store, I bought like 6 items. The other day. Went into the store, and it was like $100. Is anybody else having this problem? This is crazy. And so while they're Band-Aids, right? We're putting Band-Aids on the wounds. Let's heal the solution. That's what I'm asking you to do with me for our journey here on Millennium TV 24, the New American Perspective. That's what I'm asking of you. I'm asking you to dig deep. I'm asking you to join me every Wednesday at 12 on Roku, on somebody, Sky Network, the Horizon TV. All your branded smart TVs. Look at me on the big screen and let's talk about it. So now, before we wrap up, we have a question of the week. And I want to hear from you, whether you look on the Facebook page, I want to hear from you. Comment somewhere to let me know that you're thinking. If there is a nomination for a Black vice president, who would it be? Would it be Tim Scott or Byron Donalds? Tim Scott, senator out of South Carolina, or Byron Donalds, congressman out of Florida. Two totally different Black men, two totally different images, two totally different perspectives. But I want to hear from you. If they choose a Black man, and then here's the second part to that question. Does that sway you either way? Any color that you are, white, Black, Indian, Chinese, does it sway you? And if you're not a white person, do you feel some type of way? If you're not a woman, if you are a woman, do you feel some type of way that Trump doesn't pick a woman? So let's talk about it. I enjoyed you today. We'll have some guests next week, a little couple technical difficulties, but I enjoyed you today. Thank you so much for joining the New American Perspective. And I'm signing out. I am Jania Butler, and I am a citizen of the United States of America and hip hop. Salute to you all. I'm looking at the superstar here. Join me, Jania Butler, for the New American Perspective every Wednesday at 12 noon for an in-depth look of education, politics, economics, and entertainment from Republican and conservative views. The first of its kind on the Millennium News 24 and the Millennium TV 24 network. We will conceptualize and debate the rights and wrongs of the society, and together we will build the New American Perspective and share it with the rest of the world. You can tune in on all iOS and Android platforms, branded smart TVs, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. If you're around the world, Horizon Satellite. If you're in Europe or Australia, the Sky Network. Tune in to MillenniumNews24.com or MillenniumTV24.com. All social media, Millennium News 24. We're live and have the podcast at the same time. I am a citizen, and this is our perspective. I'm back on.